Justice League. This is one of my most anticipated / nervous movies in a very long time. Guys, we have made it to Justice League. I remember the day when the Avengers came out. Like, that was a big deal, seeing those heroes come together. And Justice League, it feels the same way. Like, we are going to see a live-action Justice League for the very first time on screen. And guess what? It's been a bumpy road. We've gone through a lot of crap. Suicide Squad, Batman vs. Superman. Then we got Bright with Wonder Woman. And then we got near production of this movie. And then apparently really tragic news of freaking losing his daughter, Zack Snyder's daughter, committing suicide. He had to leave the movie. And then Joss Whedon came in and directed and reshot and cut out a bunch of stuff. Apparently, he is the credit for writing in this movie, but really at the end of this movie it says directed by Zack Snyder. And so, going into this movie, a 2-hour and 1-minute movie, Justice League, we've had so much good from Wonder Woman and so much bad. What is this movie? It's exactly what I was hoping it wasn't going to be. Disappointing is the word, guys. My opinion is this movie almost got to the point of good. Almost. Okay, I'll say this. The movie itself is entertaining. It's enjoyable. It's a great movie theater watch. So basically the movie is about Bruce Wayne / Batman, played by Ben Affleck, and Wonder Woman, played by Gal Gadot. They hear about Steppenwolf coming to Earth, and he's gonna do something that involves something that's in a spoiler that I can't talk about. Pretty much take over the world, kill Earth, just every typical villain. And so Bruce Wayne and Wonder Woman have to get together. They have to build the team, the Justice League, because Superman is gone, and they gotta get a powerful group together and fight Steppenwolf. And this involves Aquaman, The Flash, and Cyborg. And you know what? For the most part, these characters were the best part in the entire movie. Let's start with positives. First things first, I have to give it up to Zack Snyder or Joss Whedon because I could not tell who directed this movie, and I was so nervous about that. I was like, is this going to seem like Zack Snyder at first, and then the last half of the movie is going to feel like Joss Whedon? I couldn't tell. There's one scene that I think I know that Joss Whedon directed for sure. It has something to do with the dialogue and the editing and something like that. I feel like that one scene, but overall, I really couldn't tell. And I had to say the directing was good. It was good directing. There were some awesome action scenes. There was very entertaining action scenes. Sometimes it got to the Batman vs. Superman level where it was too much CGI in one shot. It got to that point one time towards the end of the movie, really, when they're in this fake world, whatever, everything was just exploding and anything just die and explode, and it got really CGI heavy in some parts. But for the most part, Zack Snyder or Joss Whedon, they both did a good job. It really did. There was some awesome action scenes. And of course, the characters, like I said, are the reason you go see this movie, and they are one of the standouts. I mean, for crying out loud, whatever happens to Ben Affleck in the near future, if he leaves or if he doesn't, I can say this now. He's a good Batman. I'm sorry. He's better as a Bruce Wayne, but in this movie, he was good. He led the group. He was Batman. He was awesome. He had some really cool scenes. He had some funny scenes, too. This movie is actually very funny about that, too. But Bruce Wayne, Ben Affleck, as Batman, I like him. I thought he was really good in this movie. And if he leaves, I feel sad. If he stays, that's awesome. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, after watching this movie, they really were like, alright, Wonder Woman needs to be heavy in this movie. And she was. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman is seriously one of the best parts of the entire movie. She is great as Wonder Woman. Now let's talk about some of the new characters that we really got to get into. So, The Flash, Ezra Miller as The Flash, stole the movie. He was hilarious, and I loved him as the Flash. He was awesome, he was nerdy, he was so cool, and he was very funny. This movie has a lot of humor. The movie is very funny at times. Sometimes the jokes drop very much, but Ezra Miller's The Flash was perfect, and he stole the movie, and I want a Flash movie right now. Cyborg, for the most part, kind of turned into that character where he was more of a gadget person and all that kind of stuff. I mean, if you look at him, he really is a robot, literally. So, but his character didn't get enough development, which I'll get to in a minute after I talk about more pros. But Cyborg, as itself, he was a cool character. He had some dramatic scenes about him and what happened to him. I thought that was interesting when we got that. But also, his CGI, I'm sorry, for 70% of the movie, I was just sitting there like, that's CGI. That's not anything else. That is pure CGI. And sometimes the CGI in this movie was very noticeable, and it looked like some CGI people were walking around and flying and everything. Some of the CGI was very bad at some points, I'm not gonna lie, but there were some really cool CGI points. But for the most part, Cyborg, you look at him, you're like, that's just CGI, in my opinion. And then Jason Momoa's Aquaman, probably my most anticipated new character in this movie. I liked everything about his look. I liked how he talked. I liked how cool he was, his one-liners. But he did not get enough character development to really care about Aquaman. He didn't. He has cool attributes, 100%. But his character, I don't care for Aquaman yet. And again, like everything you saw in the trailers about him, those are some of the best, coolest parts about him, and they show him in the trailers. So now let's get more into the cons, and this movie does have some cons, I will admit. One of my biggest, hands down, this is probably gonna be the biggest con, and to me it was, Steppenwolf is seriously a terrible villain. He was a big CGI villain, taking over the world, villainous game dialogue, like lines. Like, for real, Steppenwolf brought the movie down a whole bunch. His character, the villain, everything about him, I did not like. I didn't feel like this was a perfect villain for the Justice League movie. You know, like when the first Avengers movie came out, Loki was the first villain. He was the best villain and still considered is the best villain. This movie, we get Steppenwolf. Forgettable as much. Like, man, after this movie, I'm totally gonna forget about him. Literally, I barely even remember. I saw the movie last night. Seriously, Steppenwolf is a terrible villain. I'm sorry if you read the comics, he's so cool. I really did not care for him. The tone is very shifty. It's comedy, dramatic, scary at one point. Like, the tone is everywhere. The story is very messy. I mean, there is a lot of things happening. And man, I know they're going for this comedy, lighthearted, but they had their own style. And they really feel like they're trying to change everything up. They really are. And another con that was huge for me, this movie felt very rushed. The pacing is fast, which can be good or it can be bad. And apparently this movie was a 2-hour and 40-minute movie. I honestly felt like it should have been. It should have been. Like, the storylines for Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman, their background character development is rushed. It is rushed. It is gone by. You basically see the Flash in the trailer join the Justice League. That's all you get. Like, you don't get the gritty, like, character development you need for these characters. Like, again, Jason Momoa's Aquaman, for a perfect example. He looks cool. He is awesome. He has cool attributes. I want to see his solo movie very much. But we get little of his character development. And when it gets to the intense moments, I don't care if he died, and that's huge. That's Aquaman. That is saying something. They rushed right through those character developments, and that is huge. That is prior to the plot, and I can't, like, I really want to see the extended cut. When that comes out, I want to see the extended cut. And like I said earlier, the CGI for the most part, it was very up and down for me. Sometimes CGI was really bad, and sometimes it just felt so, like, CGI. Like, there was so much CGI in one scene. I was like, this is literally this is a computer. There's no camera right now. It is pure computer. And that bothers me so much. And once again, if this is kind of a spoiler, but kind of not, because we all know it, Superman is in this movie somehow. I won't get into it. What they did with Superman, I will say, for the most part, was awesome. It's probably one of my favorite parts, what they do with Superman. But if you do not know, in the behind the scenes, Apparently, like, he is, okay guys, he is in this movie. He's in it. Some way, some capacity. I won't tell you how or nothing. I'm just saying Henry Cavill is in the Justice League. I mean, I think we all know this. But really, there's a CGI lip of his because he has a mustache in Mission Impossible 6 and he had to have a CGI lip. There are times where I 100% saw a CGI lip. 100%. Once again, just to final out this review, for the most part, the movie's entertaining. It's like Suicide Squad, where it was entertaining to watch. The group itself, the Justice League, you have good characters, but they need better development and they need a way better story. Give them a gritty, good story. This one was so basic, throwaway plot, and I don't like that for these major characters. And Steppenwolf was a terrible villain, and also, there's a positive, I like J.K. Simmons. I thought he was good as Gordon. With the small scene he is in, I thought he was good as Gordon. And I think he should definitely be in the Batman movie whenever that comes out. So overall, the Justice League movie, in my opinion, is for sure disappointing. There are a lot of problems with this movie, but there is entertaining moments. There's 100%. Like, again, my favorite part is what they do with Superman. It is seriously one of the coolest things they've done in the entire DC universe, and I'm so glad they did what they did in this movie for Superman, and I love that. Also, the Danny Elfman score literally gave me goosebumps. Of the score of Batman and Superman, it literally gave me goosebumps. It's one of the coolest scenes in the movie. Overall, like I said, the movie is disappointing. And it's really sad because it's Justice League. This was it, guys. This was the movie. And I think they kind of failed. I really do. But then again, there's good in this movie. There really is. But when that extended cut come out, I bet that movie's going to be way better than this one because there's more character development and all that kind of stuff. But Steppenwolf was a terrible villain. The CGI, for the most part, didn't look that great to me. And I really thought the character development needed to be there a lot more. But overall, it is an entertaining movie. Go and see it. Definitely go and see it if you're a fan of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, any of these characters. Go and see it. It's a fun movie at many times. But many times there's cons. I'm just like, that is not right. You can do better. But DC is almost there. They're almost there. They got a great movie in there somewhere. But man, just the whole Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon thing didn't help either. And the cut down of 40 minutes, there are many issues with this movie. And I am disappointed, guys. But for the most part, there is entertainment. If you get where I'm going. Anyways, I'm gonna give Justice League a C+. Yeah, I like the movie in a lot of ways, but then again, it could be way better. That is my review. It's a long review too, but I had to get into it because this is a really, like, this review is very, very, very important, especially for DC, because they gotta get something right sooner or later, you know? Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoy this review, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye, guys.